What's up, guys, and welcome back to Learn to Play. Today we're taking a look at this Protoss versus Zerg. And kind of funny story, I was recording this and I thought I hit the record button instead I'm streaming, so I'm also streaming to a bunch of guys. But hello out there for you guys that are tuning in and watching, and I hope you guys like the commentary, along with you guys over at YouTube. I love you guys too. I'm giving you guys a virtual hug right now. I can feel it. It feels so delicious. Anyway, guys, we're looking at Hydra versus Parting. This is a ZvP. I've done a ZvT so far, a TvP, and now I, gotta round everything out, make it all nice and proper. This particular map is really different and difficult to play, I think, overall, because of just these middle rocks, the fact that you can make this an island for a certain, time of the game, whenever you want it to, really, how it can be very macro and aggressive focused, how you can harass or stall back, and I'm really looking forward to how Parting is going to be able to deal with this, because I really do feel like Zerg have kind of a tough time on this map. A lot of times because the center can just be force fielded out. Of course, the rocks can be blown down. It's hard to be able to deal with all the different pressures that Protoss can do. We're going to find out as we get into this. Me personally, I like doing little tricky things, throwing up nexuses over here and then recalling to this base as my natural. I really like stuff like that. Being able to put on constant pressure, zealot, stalker pressure, and then remove these towers. And then once you do that, you're going to section off basically half the map, and you're capable of just having like 1-2 minutes just to yourself. And that's when you can double starport, you can go for a lot of gateways, Twilight Council, Blink Stalkers. You have a gold base. Hello. There's so many capabilities that you're able to do. It's just a really nice position. I think Hydra's completely correct to go for a hatchery first. I will be interested to see how he gets a third base. That's probably the most interesting part. I really don't know how it's going to come up here. The gas, you have to absolutely get this, especially when you're scouting and you see gateway first. Right now, Hydra is looking where the gas allocation is, if Parting is capable of any really fast timing pushes. Also looking at the chrono boost levels and being able to see, okay, well, 6 minutes, 30 seconds, that's normally when a warp gate is going to finish. In this particular build, for every single chrono boost that I can see after this, or before this, it would have been minus 10 seconds, so 6:20, 6:10, etc. But right now it's at 6:30, and you could say like the earliest it can be is going to be around 6 minutes if it goes unscouted from here on out, if no chrono boosts are allocated right now. So right now, obviously Parting knows this map pretty well too. He's making this into an island map. I feel like, okay, so Hydra has a couple of options. I think his biggest aggressive option is going to be doing something stupid like a Nidus Worm, something of that fashion. Wow, this is a critical Zergling, and this is not good for Parting. So Parting has a delayed nexus. It's not really that fast, but he sees the 3 gateways, and normally when you're knocking down these rocks and trying to get up 3 gateways, it really doesn't make too much sense, right? Like, why are you doing that? And Hydra's gonna stick his head in here and see that it's 2 gateways. Most interesting thing would be to see how many gases that he has. I would have actually swung over to this side and then moved around. I don't care about this. I don't care about this path right here. That's not going to show me anything. I already know he has this bottom gas. I want to check this top gas to see, how fast or how slow this can be. Because if I see no gas as a Zerg player, on this top, I know, wow, that's a lot of gateways. I see 3 gateways in front. The fact that he only has 1 gas means he's not going starport. He's not going Twilight Council. He's not going robo. He's doing gateway pressure. So how am I adjusting to that? I'm getting probably roaches. I'm getting burrow immediately. I think burrow is a fantastic pre-layer upgrade that people need to take advantage of. Because just think, how are you going to be able to see burrowed roaches? That means, anything like mass zealots really is not going to work because I just burrow up. So it forces you on mass stalkers, and you have a limited amount of stalkers to actually get. Stalkers are kind of like the snowballing type of unit. I don't think zealots are because they can be kited. Stalkers are the units that it's like, okay, I'm going to overkill this one roach, overkill the next roach, and then I go from there on. Hydra, let's see where his gases are. I probably add on 1 more gas in this spot too as Hydra. So one more gas, that way you have good production of that. We want to get away from making as many zealots as possible because it's not larva efficient. We want to just think strictly in terms of larva efficiency and holding this off. If we're able to hold this off, what is our follow-up as well? So where are we going to get the advantage? Do we put counter pressure, or are we going to sit back and take a third base? And I would say ordinarily we're sitting back and taking a third base and just being able to drone up really nicely. And on top of that, we're going to be pressuring with the intent to switch over to Spire Tech. Here's my reasons for not sticking on ground on this map in particular. It's because how fucking hard is it to defend this base, and this base, and this base, and this base, all over the place. You don't have a natural progression to actually take your expansions. I guess the closest would be these two. And how can you really defend against these and also put pressure? Just think of the attack that you have to do with Hydra, Roach Hydra or Roach Circling. You have to break this down, make sure units aren't over here, and then go all the way around to attack our Protoss that probably is taking a third here. The other option, to attack this, and then hope they don't have sentries over here. That's not a good position for Zerg to be in. They want to be taking all this shit, getting their mutas out, being able to be super mobile, and punishing the Protoss for having to take this expansion or this expansion. Mutas come in here, mutas come in here, mutas come in here, or the mutas are just going to sit over here, and then the Zergling muta is going to come over here, and now you're attacking 3 different potential places. That's really scary if I'm the mutating player. So we have to ask ourselves how we're going to develop into these mutas a little bit later on. I think mutas are the way to go on this map. So I think 2 gases is correct. Take a third base and prep a switch while at the same time going over into lair tech. Am I putting on tons and tons and tons of pressure though? Like, is this going to be like a lot of Zerglings and Roaches, and then I get, you know, eventually I bank up in like 12 mutas and then I push? I don't think that's the case. We want to stay off of glial reconstitution as much as possible because that's delaying us. We want to probably be going mutas off of 4 gases. So while the third base is being like up and running, we want to try to slip in this lair. That means, you know, I'm just reverse engineering stuff. This is all for the follow-up of Hydra here. So that means we're trying to get a lair once we know we're stabilized as soon as possible. So we'll find out how Hydra is going to be able to deal with this in this game in particular. I mean, he's not getting burrow, which I think is a big mistake. He's also taking workers off gas, which is another huge, big mistake because Hydra has the capability to have seen this. He already saw 2 gateways in the front. He saw this gateway here. He sees 2 gateways over here. What are you doing with your life where you're not prepping against this, not getting the required amount of gas? Get the amount of gas, Hydra! Jesus! Jesus! And of course, this is going to be very unfortunate. As we talked about before, Hydra needs to do something like this if he wants to stay on ground. It looks like he's staying on ground, which hurts me. It wounds me. Second gas is very late. So let's find out. I like the counter pressure here, but against someone like Parting, he's going to defend against this. Like, there's no chance he doesn't defend against this. It would be ridiculous to assume that he doesn't defend against this, in my opinion. Alright, and let's see how this works out. Not loving it, not hating it. Man, just think if you had burrow here. Burrow and, like, you don't even have to go so many Zerglings. Think of all these Zerglings that just died. They all could have been drones. They all could have been drones. Lair is a little bit late because of that. So now, like, where's Hydra's follow-up here? I mean, you can see, like, he's just dealing with the pressure, and he just isn't thinking about the follow-up directly after this. If I'm Parting, am I happy in this spot? Am I content with what just happened? Well, I didn't actually do that many warp-ins. That's okay. You know, I'm kind of sectioning him off, stopping the third base from really popping up all too soon, although I don't know if the third base is over here, but ordinarily it wouldn't be. I'm going to be able to retreat home if I ever need to with a recall. I'm forcing Roaches out, which is good, and my opponent really doesn't have counter pressure or counterplay. Think if Roaches were on the way out, or Roaches were already done here. The Robo isn't even, it's barely started. You would have been able to thwart the attack and then move over to the other side, and if he doesn't have observers out, which, spoiler, he does not have observers out, he's going to be shitting his pants absolutely shitting his pants. He has to force field this off. That means sentries are going to be forced. That means, tech is going to be forced out. And then you can switch over to mutas. That's such a good way to play this out rather than playing the way out it's currently being done. So let's find out and see how it works. Time warp. Okay. Sadness of sad beats. And he just has no answer to this. This is so sad. Hydra is literally just being contained to death. 5 sentries on the outskirts makes it impossible for Hydra to ever lead. So what does he go here? Does he go Glio Reconstitution? He's going round. Hydra, Hydra, Hydra. No me gusta. This makes perfect sense, right? Makes perfect sense. Getting immortals. How nice would it have been if all of these sentries are actually placed over here? How much nicer. We take our third base, we tech up, we get our lair, we get our spire tech, we spine this up. Even if he kills our third base, who cares? We have mutas flying around the map. You're not going to be able to beat this outside place. You're not going to be able to. You can't push up into roaches and spine crawlers here. Or zerglings and spine crawlers. It's not capable. Of course he gets burrowed now. A little late. A little late. Look at this! Look! Hello! How great would this have been if it was so much earlier? Oh my goodness, Hydra. See, that's why, against early gateway pressure, let's get burrow from now on, guys. Let's just do that. You're going to be able to stop the gateway pressure. Trust me, you will be able to stop it. Let's get the burrow out, make our roaches super hardy. Make them super hardy. Oh, man. Alright. Alright. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That was so scary. And at this point, I mean, the third's so late. He has gotten, you could see the tunneling claws, so it does help a little bit here. But I will be super shocked if this Protoss. Oh my God! Look at how many sentries he has. I'll be super shocked if this Protoss ever loses the game. I don't see a possible way for it to happen. And again, if you look at the units lost tab, it's really not that much. But this is all working up to it. This is all, what is your plan going into mid-game? This is all, how do you deal with this pressure? What is your plan overall? And we can clearly see that Hydra doesn't have the right plan. And Parting, do we think he played extra spectacular? I don't think so. I don't think he's like super amazing. Wow, this is like cutting edge, top GSL play. No, this is just mistakes. Mistakes with your plan, and again, Protoss is able to just capitalize of going pretty regular standard stuff, dealing with Hydras. Or dealing with roaches, rather. Oh my God. Force fields for days. For days. And this is all kind of like to be expected, right? We've simulated all of this in our head. We've simulated this exact situation happening where roaches and hydras really don't make sense on this map. Where are they going to go? How are they going to cross the map when sentries are going to be so powerful here? We simulated this from before when we said, how are you going to take your third base when you're not really dealing or being able to deal with the very early gateway pressure? You're being contained for way too long. Force fields for days. Sad life for Hydra, that's for sure. And you know what's crazy? Like, Hydra, you put him against like the top foreigners, and he does pretty well. And it really shows you the discrimination that exists with even the very basics. Now, Hydra, we've seen some really, really good stuff coming out of him before. But it's just in this particular game where we're seeing a lot of like huge mistakes, big fundamental flaws in his game, where he's just either not prepared in thinking about the future of this game and how it's going to pan out, or just making the wrong calls. You're being under a lot of pressure and being very nervous. But Parting's on 2 base, man. Like, this is standard Parting stuff. Anyway, guys, again, apparently I like to be super negative with these, but you got to be critical. I'm just as critical with the pros as I am with, myself. I see all the times like, oh, well, parting does this, or, X player does this, so it's okay. Guys, think for yourselves. See if every single game really makes sense. See if the overall game plan makes sense. This is the first time I'm watching this replay, and I'm already able to conclude a lot of different things that I completely disagreed with. I said the game's going to go a certain direction, or, it's not going to be good for the Zerg in this position, and I'm able to be kind of proved right. If you're proved wrong, ask yourself, well, do I have to readjust my assessments? Do I have to readjust how I think of, the Zerg race, or, 2-base pressure with Protoss, or 2-base defense with Zerg and stuff like that? And you at least put it out there, right? Make a statement and let it be well defined. And then you start to finally tweak and adjust it as you are either proved right or proved wrong. And that's how you develop yourself and become a better player. Anyway, guys, this is Greytorp, and thank you for watching another episode of Learn to Play. As always, do what you love what you do, and I'll catch you guys next time.